What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Roster Bubble Series video. Please hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you know when live stream pops to your jobs. Appreciate y'all coming back. Share this out as well. Getting this out to other football fans, other Giants fans, other people on social media will help bring them to this channel. We could reach milestones faster, and you guys could interact with new people every time we go live or a premiere happens. So in this video, another Roster Bubble video, I'll run it down for you guys just in case you haven't been here before. First, I go over the player, their background, particularly a player that's on the verge of getting cut or staying on the roster. It's on a seesaw type of level. Then I go over their competition. Then I go over how they could win a spot on the roster and how they could lose a spot on the roster, and then followed up by a prediction at the end. So this one may be a shorter one than usual, and this is a funny player to do it on, and that is Chris Myarick. Chris Myarick was a undrafted free agent in 2019 out of Temple, and he was signed by the Miami Dolphins, and he was cut during final roster cuts. Then he was signed to the practice squad. Then in 2020, he was basically, in the same process again. He was elevated a couple of times onto the active roster, but was also inactive a few times. So he was up and down between the practice squad, the active roster, and stuff like that. Never got any real game reps from what I can gather. He played 3 games, though, but once again, probably mostly all those reps coming on special teams. Then when the Giants had their waiver wire period and the practice squad period in 2021, the New York Giants signed him on September 2nd. Then he was elevated onto the active roster. I think Ingram was injured, or Kyle Rudolph was injured, or one of the tight ends was injured. And then he was elevated onto the active roster. He played against Tampa Bay. He played against Philly, where he caught his first touchdown, played against the Miami Dolphins in a few more games, and then they cut him the day after the Bears game. Then a few days later, the Cincinnati Bengals picked him up and put him on the practice squad, and that's where he remained, I should say, for the rest of the season. He did get a trip to the Super Bowl, so there is that. The New York Giants signed him to a futures contract on February 22nd, and that's where he's been ever since. In total, in his career, he's got 3 receptions, 17 yards, and 1 touchdown, all coming with the New York Giants. So, his competition: Austin Allen, Ricky Seals-Jones, Andre Miller, and Jordan Akins. Daniel Bellinger is the only lock on this roster right now as a tight end. Jordan Akins could be. Ricky Seals-Jones could be. 2 receiving tight ends right there, but they don't block well. And in Brian Dable's offense and any functional offense in the NFL, you need tight ends that can block well. Andre Miller is a converted tight end. He was a wide receiver, I believe, at Maine, but now they've chosen to convert him to tight end. And then Austin Allen, the undrafted free agent, I believe, out of Nebraska, and he has a good blocking ability, still some stuff to clean up there, and he's also got good receiving ability. So a lot of competition there. Possibly could compete with Jeremiah Hall too, depending on where they place him on the roster, because Jeremiah Hall could be lined up as a tight end if he does make the roster, and he could be lined up there in the preseason to see how he fits in with the offense. So how can he win a spot on the roster? Show some skill as a blocking and a receiving threat. Obviously, he caught a touchdown pass in 2021 with the New York Giants against the Philadelphia Eagles, and he caught 2 other passes, but that was pretty much it from him. Wasn't really seen as a main threat, but he's going to be with the 2 and 3 squads. Make yourself known. Get yourself out there. Try to be like a C.J. Conrad in training camp, but unfortunately C.J. Conrad really didn't do anything in the games, and that's why he was cut from the Giants in 2019, but also show some skill as a blocking threat. Once again, Daniel Bellinger is the only blocking tight end. He's the only lock on this roster right now. So the Giants need blocking tight ends, and if for some reason Chris Myarick and Austin Allen end up being those guys, and that's who they evaluate to be, the best out of the bunch, hey, listen, I'll take it. I trust Joe Shane. I trust Brian Dable. I don't have any expectations, but I trust them as more competent than we've had, these guys in the last few years. How can he lose the spot? Sinks down the depth chart, loses reps in terms of blocking, and drops passes with the 2s and 3s and doesn't get open. I mean, that's basic stuff right there. But for Myarick, someone who really needs to, climb the depth chart like hell, I mean, that's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. That's what you have to avoid as well. Don't drop passes. Try to catch every pass. Try to haul in, even if the quarterback like Webb or Tyrod Taylor, even if they throw a bad pass, try to still go up and get it wherever it is. Try to win as many reps against the 2s and 3s as possible, whether that be in a game, a joint practice, or in training camp. And then just try to level yourself over guys like Ricky Seals-Jones and Jordan Akins. They have more experience, so they're obviously at the top of the food chain right now. But sometimes we've seen guys like Chris Myarick climb over guys like Seals-Jones, Akins, seasoned veterans. And Andre Miller probably is the last guy to be considered for the tight end spot because A, he's converted, B, he's coming from Maine, so that's not necessarily like the biggest college ever. But in my prediction, I have him getting released. I think the New York Giants could possibly tack him onto the practice squad. That's what they did last year. That's what a lot of teams have done with Chris Myarick. Obviously, you can do that with veterans nowadays. I think you could have. There's a limit to how many players over 3 years of experience you could put on the practice squad, but they could probably fit Chris Myarick in. We'll see what happens, but I have Chris Myarick getting released and some of the other guys getting released as well, but I'm not going to reveal that till later videos. And we'll see what happens, though, in training camp with Austin Allen and the whole tight end room, because, once again, Daniel Bellinger is the only lock. We'll see what happens with the other guys. But if you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops your drops. Appreciate y'all coming back. Peace out, guys. See you later. Stay cool.